Shalom, Kol Halo Yahweh Bashim Hawashai Bahashem Rakakwadash. Double honors unto the apostles and the elders. Salutations to all my fellow laborers doing this work in truth and sincerity, risking their lives and their freedom to do so, now more so than ever. To the scattered elect that are scattered around the four corners of the earth among the heathen nations that be like unto the speckled bird, and the aquaf that are listening and learning. This is your brother Malcolm from the branch of the Great Millstone here in Chicago, coming at you with another lesson. And the topic is just a simple, basic thing. It won't be a long, drawn-out lesson, but it's about the appearance of the Lord and how it's written, and people take not heed to it. So I'm going to start with John. I think it's 1 John 5 and 10. Because I was watching a video this morning, a short video that the apostle elder Ramlab put up. It was about their belief in pictures and images, and and the iconoclasm, whitewashing of history, which is really simple. We're in the information age. If you go on the internet and you start Googling 5th century, 7th, 8th, 9th century, 10th century, 11th century, 12th century, you notice how the art went from being brown skinned to pale, in the 15th century. Because Esau Edom came back into power, and then it's also written what the Lord looks like. So this is this is 1 John 5 and 10, and it reads, "He that believeth on the Son of God have the witness in himself, and he that believeth not God have made him a liar, because he believeth not the record that God gave of his Son." And the record that was given of the Lord is in many places in the Bible. So we're going to start with Revelation. This is Revelation 1 and 1, and it reads, the revelation of Jesus Christ, which is Yahushua HaMashiach, which God gave unto him to show unto his servants things which must shortly come to pass, and he sent and signified it by his angel unto his servant John. So the messenger, the angel, came to John and gave him the revelation, revealed the Lord unto him. And so why did the Lord need to be revealed to us in the end of days? Well, the reason the Lord has to be revealed in the end of days is because they've lied about his image. They've given the world, Esau Edom has given the world a false, fake image of the Lord. All right, let's jump down to verse 12, and it reads, actually, I'm gonna start at 11. It's verse 10. "I was in the spirit on the Lord's day, and behold, and heard behind me a great voice as a trumpet, saying, I am the Alpha and the Omega, the first and the last. And what thou seest, write it on a book, and send it to the 7 churches which are in Asia, unto Ephesus, unto Smyrna, and to Pergamos, unto Thyatira, Sardis, and unto Philadelphia, and unto Laodicea." Why? Because the Lord had to give them the true image of himself. All right, and give him a witness of to the things that are to come, the prophecies. Verse 12, "And when I turned to see the voice that spake with me, and being turned, I saw 7 golden candlesticks," not 9. You'll find that the Amalekite Jewish converts in the land of Israel, every year around Hanukkah, they use a 9 candlestick candle. All right, the Bible, the Israelites of the Bible, the Jews and the rest of the other 11 tribes never used a 9-stick menorah. It was always a 7-stick. All right, just to give you that little tad bit of history there, that fact. All right, "And in the midst of the 7 candlesticks, one like unto the Son of Man, clothed with the garment down to his foot, and girt about the paps with the golden girdle. His head and his hairs were white like wool." So they were white, but it was woolly in texture. All right, and then it reads, and his and it says, and it's white as snow, and his eyes were like the flame of fire, and his feet were like unto fine brass, as if they burned in a furnace. His voice was like the sound of many waters. So right here I have a penny, which is very similar to the color of brass, and you can see how much darker that penny is than I am. All right, you see that? Now if you burn that, it's going to be almost as black, almost as dark. This is real black, but it's going to be almost like that. So the Lord was an extremely dark man. He wasn't a light-skinned individual at all. He was a very dark Israelite, who the world would ignorantly call a Negro today. Okay, so let's read a couple of precepts that are in that book, in that passage, in 14. In 15, it says, I got Ezekiel 1:7 here, so I'm going to turn to Ezekiel 1:7. Oh, let me go to Revelation since I'm right here. It's also a precept of a Revelation 2:18. So let's look at that one. And it reads, and unto the angel of the church of Thyatira, write these things, saith the Son of power, who have eyes like unto a flame of fire, his feet are like unto fine brass. Once again, I'm trying to put that up. Where is it? Why is it not showing? Oh, there it is. Unlike to fine brass. All right. There it is again. Unlike to fine brass. Okay. Now let's go to Ezekiel 1:7. Okay. And it reads, and their feet were straight feet. And that's actually, if you go to verse 1, it's telling you about the angels that were on the chariots. All right. If you start at verse 4, it says, and behold, a whirlwind came out of the north, a great cloud, and a fire enfolding itself, and a brightness was about it, and out of the midst thereof the color of amber, and the midst of fire. All right. And it says, verse 5, also out of the midst thereof came the likeness of 4 creatures, and this was their appearance, and they had the likeness of a man. So the angels are men, they don't have, and the reason they and it says that because it talks about the Lord wearing beryl, wearing green, all right, and the big fro. So that's why they try to make them green with big heads. All right. That's just trying to say that they're aliens. All right. So when we jump to verse 7 in Ezekiel 1:7, it says, and their feet were straight feet, and the sole of their feet was like the sole of a calf's foot, and they sparkled like the color of burnished brass. So it's telling you the precept to this scripture is Daniel 10:6. All right. So let's go to Daniel 10:6 and see what it says. All right. Because Daniel 10:6 makes it very, very clear that it's talking about skin color. All right. And his body was like the beryl. So that's that green garment. Okay. His face was as the appearance of lightning. His eyes were as lamps of fire. His arms and his feet were like in color. His arms and his feet were like in color to polished brass. So it was much darker than this. And this is pretty, that's not super dark, but that's dark. Copper colored. Just like it talks about the copper colored natives, man. The natives were brown like that too. All right. Natives today have been intermingled and forced to mix with Esau Edom. That's why many of them are lighter. But guess what? Many of them are dark like this and even darker. All right. But I'll read that again. Daniel 10:6. And his body was like the beryl, and his face as the appearance of lightning, and his eyes as lamps of fire, and his arms and feet like in the color to polished brass, and the voice of his words were like the voice of a multitude. He had a loud, deep voice. So who the world ignorantly calls Jesus Christ was not, I repeat, as they said in the Malcolm X movie, a pale face. Call halal Yahweh by Shem Abishai, by Hashem Rakak Wadash, Wa Abba Babal, Shalom.